lovely old place. Our holiday's just started. We're going to England. And so this is the road, still in Poland, not far, about an hour and a half on the journey. And of course what we're doing now is we're on the road. Maybe I'd better close the window to get some better audio on this. We're on the road that goes through to where the motorway ends at the moment. In the future the motorway won't end there, it'll go all the way to Warsaw, but now you have to drive a couple of hours to get to the motorway, and you have to drive through quite, back roads of this type. What we're doing now, we came off the main Katowice road and we're going towards Łódź, and just north of Łódź, in a place called Stryków, is the end of the motorway at this present time, and has been for the last 2 years. And I don't know how long we're supposed to be waiting until it gets on to Warsaw, but we've got 70 billion, which is 70 milliard or 70,000 million of euros coming in infrastructure money from the European Union, our bribe for accepting the super state, and Brzeżiny is in 16 kilometres, and that's where we'll get a cut through. Hey Sophie, don't interrupt while I'm talking. That's where we've got a cut through to get to Stryków. Now most people know about cutting through from Brzeżiny to Stryków, but what they don't know is exactly which of the two cuts to take. Most of them are not even aware there are two, and simply follow the signposts. What I intend to show you in this part of the video is that if you don't take the first one, okay, then then later by a cemetery there's a second one which is straight as a die and has no vehicles over 10 tons on it, which means it's an awful lot better to take it and a lot quicker. And in practice, taking the first cut through from Brzeżiny to Stryków takes about 20 minutes and about 10 minutes if you take the other, so you're saving 10 minutes on the journey, and it's a lot of a safer road as well. People sitting up there on a roof of a new roof being put on the... I don't know if I got a couple of those stalks what was up there. Right, so we're in Brzeżiny. Yeah. And this is the place where I said earlier that we would be...
Prepare to bear right in 800 metres.
Everybody says go right in 800 metres, and it's in fact not the correct answer. Even the machine here I've got is giving the wrong answer. If need be, I'll have to put a picture-in-picture here of the way the map looks on Google Maps and show you on it the right and the wrong answer and what the difference is between them. But all the things, whether it's this thing here,
prepare to bear right in 300 metres,
whether it's something else, whether it's see, that says Stryków there.
In 100 metres, bear right, then take next left.
And that's where you don't go to Stryków. And this is where you don't go to Stryków either.
In 70 metres, turn left.
That was the wrong way to go to Stryków, even though it's signposted as the way to Stryków. So you carry on along here on the road to Łódź as if you're going to go to Łódź, and everybody's going to say, hey, Mr. Turn off to Stryków.
Keep right on main road in 90 metres.
Stryków being, if you remember, the place where the motorway ends for the time being. It's not the default or the designated end of the motorway. In the end, it's just that's how far they managed to take it with the money they got so far, and the
in 190
repatriation,
meters,
the compulsory purchase, as it were, of the farmers' fields that they managed to achieve so far. So there's always that going in the way of road building.
In 100 metres, turn left.
Right.
Take next left.
Okay, so at least we're getting there. Alarm clock.
In 150 metres, turn right.
Oh, what's going on here now?
Take
there's Strykov again, and there's a second
Take
signpost,
next right.
and it's telling me to take next right again here next to this petrol station, and it's also the wrong answer, by the way. So I had another sign for Strykov and another nagging by my machine here to go to Strykov that way, and that again is the wrong answer. It doesn't take you to the right, it doesn't take you to Strykov properly, so it's also wrong. So we crossed a little river, Mrozica here, so small that it's barely a river, but it's still got a name. It's more like somebody spat in the middle of the town.
In 110 meters, turn right.
And there's a nice piece of architecture, don't you think? That one up there. I must admit I'm quite fond of the way that looks. And sometimes it really does catch the sun very nicely, depending on what angle you get it at, but that's actually quite an impressive piece of architecture, that is. And you've got the old wooden houses.
In 50 meters, turn back.
You see, it's telling me to turn back, but the correct answer of how to get to Strykov is actually to turn right. And it does show you Strykov 14 this way, like next to this cemetery, which is actually quite a pretty looking cemetery. With all the typical things that you get in Poland for decorating cemeteries being sold outside of it. I'll show you that a bit more.
In 50 meters, turn
Now,
right.
This is not on because this vehicle here, which I'll take his number, because he just came down a road where you're not allowed to travel over 10 tons. Okay? And as you can see, it's as straight as a die.
Over the speed limit.
Yes, thank you for that.
Turn back where possible.
See, it's telling me to turn back, but this is actually the correct road. So it's doing everything it can, even the program that you get sold and you pay good money for, is being programmed to tell you not to use the road which is actually in your interests to use. If you're a car, that is. And I've put car, not lorry, into the program here. Horses, were they? Okay. And so if you go this way and you're relying either on this thing here or something like it, or you're relying on a map that hasn't got the smaller roads written on it, because a lot of maps don't have the smaller roads written on, then you won't see it. If you even look on Google, you'll only even see this one on Google Earth if you get really close to it. Turn back where possible, it says. It's like I'm heading for disaster going this way to Strykov. Well, I can tell you, if I hadn't done it already about 20 times this road, I would probably think, oh, I'm probably doing it wrong. It seems so adamant to send me back and send me back the other way. And in fact it even says here, it's even got me coming to the end of this road. It's showing me coming to the end of a road, if you can see that, without any continuation here. It's even showing here that the road I'm on is about to completely just stop. But we'll see whether it stops or not. Oh, magically, it's now showing that there is a path after all. As you can see, it's also very, very attractive in here. The other route is actually quite unpleasant to use because it's so full of the 10-ton vehicles that can't go down this road. It's also not an awful lot wider than this, so you're passing extremely heavy vehicles going fast the whole time, and it's rather dangerous the other road.
Turn back where possible.
Turn back where possible. It seems to be adding more road as I drive down it, this strange machine. sometimes you can't rely on authority. That's the thing. You've got to make your own way. You've got to do your own exploring. That's the moral of this story. All right. There's a motorway takes you all the way to Stryków, and it takes a couple of hours, 2.5 hours probably, to drive down it. And but you've covered half of Poland in that time, and it takes you to Stryków, and then from Stryków to Warsaw, which is the next phase, is probably being built sometime around now. That whenever it will be finished is anybody's guess. I mean, I waited 16 years for the road from Konin to Stryków to be done. That was because it only went as far as Konin, from Poznan to Konin at the beginning. In fact, it only went from Września to Konin, the motorway at first. That's the only part of it which is more than 16 years old, or more. In fact, more than a few years, or more than about 4 or 5 years old, because for 16 years I waited for even the motorway to go this far, until about 2 years ago. It stopped in Września, just as it had stopped in Września ever since I first came to Poland about 18 years ago. So, and Enoch looks like that, just a very small place. Nice scenery. Yes, I'm not sure about this, they seem to be a little bit not very good at parking around here. So, actually, I've been driving at a very leisurely pace today, especially as there's been queues coming out of Warsaw. So this is 2 hours and 7 minutes of elapsed time on the journey from Warsaw. You might find that you're here in an hour and a half even from leaving Warsaw. Or you might find that you're here even slower if it's a bad day. Rain, queues, things like that. If you find that at this point you're needing the toilet, there's no point in stopping. Sorry? Well, the thing to do is to wait till you're actually on the motorway, because there are regular stopping points with toilets in, whereas here there isn't really anything because it's just a country road. So you can do that on the motorway, you see. We're now not far away at all from the motorway. Yeah, biological toilet is always possible, but then you've got to find a place to park, etc., etc. And that's not always easy. Well, it's easier for me then than it is for you, because you've got to find a bush to crouch behind, and I just stand up, just look away from the road, and that's it practically. Just für mir in die Werkstatt. So, there you see it. You see there's the motorway. At the moment unused entirely. You can see the queue of lorries in the distance, and here we go, we're just being brought off the road here because from this point it's unused, and you can see they're building it. There's one of the Sophie, will you not make your noises? So this is the building works going on for this new road. Wow. And so there's your first privileged shot of what later on will be. See, it's not very far advanced, is it really? And I can tell you that I was on this last 6 months ago, and I can tell you it's pretty much the same as it was then. Yeah, well, I don't know. I think you've got a couple of years more work before it's ready, I think. But I may be proved wrong. In which case I'll be only too happy to let my listeners know that I was too pessimistic. I would predict, let me predict, I don't think it will be ready until sometime in 2010, late 2010, maybe November 2010.
Prepare to turn left.
Any earlier than that and I was wrong, any later than that and I'm right. But we'll see what happens. That's for the opening of the final stretch of the motorway to Warsaw. Then as well there's Nowy Tomyśl to the border at the other end, and then that will give us the whole coverage from the German border to the capital city, which is 500 kilometers in total. Going next to Łódź, this is very close to Łódź anyway.
Prepare to turn left in 300 meters.
Right, finally you were telling me the truth. Okay, we turn left in 300 meters. And that was basically it. What you're going to see now, I've actually done before
meters.
on another film, which if you look at, if you take Strykow, which is Strykow, and you look and search Strykow and Usenet posts, you'll see what I've done on this city before. There's no point in me actually Rapid Ukraine. There's no point in me doing the same thing twice, so I'm going to turn it off now, and we'll film something shortly when something else interesting comes. Just to keep photographing things if anything got of interest, and so here we've got the old pit stop. It's just the motorway, so the one that I mentioned earlier where the toilets are. There was one thing I didn't mention, is that on the first ones you've got the inevitable coach stops for 5 minutes and everybody gets out and has a fag. And then the women's toilet inevitably has a whacking great big queue next to it, and some of them try and go around there to the men's toilet, which is quite amusing. Obviously it's in a bit of a state and they have to put up with it. Right, you alright? What did you say? Were you alright in there, in that toilet? Yeah. You didn't drown? Okay. So here we are with all these people, just having their little break in their journey, queuing up for the bog, and a little bit of the inevitable forest next to it, down on the other side of the road. So there we go. And there's a little van with a guy making sure that nobody nicks the toilet overnight. Right, so the area where we stopped in order to get some food in this here Biedronka, the biggest sort of, it's actually Portuguese owned, the biggest local thingy. My wife's gone there with Sophie to find it. And here, I just wanted to show you there's a couple of posters, one down there with this nasty looking wolf, and one up there with an equally nasty looking dog. I think the same artist did it because it's got the same kind of teeth on both posters, and they're both about rabies. I think there's been some kind of an outbreak here because both those posters are about rabies, warning you that you must give your dog an injection against rabies, otherwise it'll look like that and start biting people and giving them rabies. So don't forget, if you've got a dog, give him an injection so he doesn't start turning into a werewolf and biting people. Oh, it's a nice reminder, isn't it? And of course those lovely posters are there to scare people out of their wits, and of course they're put there by, or given, or published by, if you see there, the sign of the people who made it, of Verback, the producer of the injection we're talking about. And up there, the one up here has got vet trade, another business. So these people are in business to make you afraid of your dog. It's nice, isn't it? It's quite sweet. I can't think of anybody that actually died of rabies in this country for many years, but nevertheless doesn't stop them trying to sell their injections. So there we are. This place is called Golina. Nice sky, and everybody seems to be on a bicycle here. So they have massive bicycle racks and little kids seats for bikes as well. Everybody's got a bicycle in Golina. It seems to be the bicycling capital of the problem that they have is that this one down here and the one up there aren't even saying the same thing, despite the fact that there's a very similar artist in both the animal drawings. The one down here says that according to Article 56.2, they don't say what the law is though. Oh yes they do, they say on the law of the 11th of March 2004, whatever that is, but they say that means you must do your dog's first injection within 30 days of it having lived out its third month, so therefore during the fourth month of its life. And here, see that a lot of people are taking interest in these rabies posters. And this one says that the dogs have got to receive their injection in the third month of their life, so they don't even say the same thing. They're completely confusing everybody. I mean, I think they better start getting it right, because you've got so many people riding around here on bicycles that if there is a rabies outbreak, you know, a lot of people get their ankles nipped.